Oh, oh, sweet. Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, hello.
So, Brittany, tell us about your last 48 hours.
Oh, okay. So,
As much as you dare.
okay.
We're there.
Well, it started with I was actually watching. I'll skip over the coke ash stuff, which is important for a later discussion from the coal plants in Poland. But that came up because I was watching a episode of Netflix of the Storybots, and it had an energy plant, and it brought me to just thinking about how it was using heat of heating water and boiling, the alchemy of it, whatever. And but their definition was fossil fuels for how they were turning these turbines, and I'm like, well, they didn't even show that. And so anyway, that somehow got me back to like Wood's whole research, which was the lava vents, and I called them lava vents, and I looked into them like 2 years ago, and I watched a video, and it was like from their website, and it looked like this woman was like operating these vents, or like talking about how the different temperatures you're able to tell how much lava was coming, and the hydrothermal vents actually are. I'll get images to share here in a minute, but the vents are just the gas that comes up throughout the whole entire line that you're seeing here. This is the vent line, and so I was just reading up on these hydrothermal vents and submarine volcanoes. And there was like no pages for it. I had to go to the oceanic research and look into these volcanoes. And on their website, it said that they had, I think, 6,000 or so of these volcanoes. And I'll have to look that up again, measured, but there's an estimated over 1 million of these submarine volcanoes. And from there, you find out that there's these subaqueous volcanoes, these glacial volcanoes. And then later on, like I guess I should say, like an hour ago, I was looking into the Ring of Fire and whatnot, because that's all anyone ever hears about with volcanoes, and that's kind of what puts a big like ribbon on this story of my research. But it's just insane. So I don't have to see if this guy on Wiki had posted this little wiki page, and I don't know if you've had a chance to look over any of the videos, but they're almost some of them are funny. One of them is NASA talking about how they could learn a lot about Mars from how our aqua ocean volcanoes function here on Earth. And then from there, I found more of biology and the earliest form of organisms and the oases of these vents, the environment and what can survive and thrive and come to life. Or it's just pretty incredible research. So I have no background in oceanography or anything, except for just when I looked into Woods Hole, and wanted to know more. This map is from the 1700s, and it's like, it's not supposed to say fault lines. It was hold on, I have that posted somewhere too. Yeah, I don't know. That's why it's probably not best that I do this, but it's the 1779 map of the world, and it's a. Can you see that? You want to read that? Are you at a computer, Nathan?
I can see that.
Okay,
yeah.
So
first, I'll say welcome to cross-disciplinarianism.
Oh, it's yeah.
So not only are you in marine biology right now, you're in geology, and you're in volcanism, and you're in now when you learn how those work, you're also delving into meteorology and climatology.
And that's what you'll find, because now they're showing they're updated their files, and all new information shows that the ocean climate is much more important than we once thought, and
it's telling everything.
And yeah, and so you never really think about volcanoes. You think they're cool. And so I looked at the super volcanoes, and that's kind of where this got to. And I was going to try and this nice like lead into everything, but I'm just kind of still overwhelmed by the amount of information I was able to acquire. But this was from their page, and then also it was like copied into Wiki, which is a whole nother story, because it was, I don't know, 10 hours after I had searched this and discussed it, this appeared, and I have like that documented, and it was created, and it was one of the most comprehensive Wiki pages I've ever seen. And it linked to the Department of Energy and our wholesale water company, and there's 4 entities. I mean, it's really crazy, and that was linked to the hydro water industry that we don't even know is an umbrella of under the DOE. That's a whole nother video that we'll need to do, because there's so much on that. But this got me into the most important thing, I think, which is the supercritical fluid element. When you get it beyond the boiling point, and you can separate different elements, and it's just a natural thing. And then they're drilling these. They don't need to drill; they're just sucking up the lava. And so I have a lot of evidence of that in these pictures where they're. I want to, maybe, I don't know if you can pause my screen, because I'm going to try and get my.
Hold a sec. You're at the reset, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. So wait till we get to this. Are you ready?
Do you know about these 2 things?
Which ones?
Lahars and pyroclastic flows. You were just on it.
Oh my, yeah, that's reset. That's like that's
Static in the Attic
concrete.
just did a video today about Lahars.
This is what I was posting. Yes.
Lahars are.
Where's that? I have it. Hold on. Did you see that?
The big word reset.
And I had it right there. Hold on. That was the most important thing. Yeah, right here. So yeah, look what happens to it. It's it becomes like concrete.
Yeah,
where is that?
There is.
It becomes.
We are very, very aware of Lahars.
I have that up in my Google. Hold up. Where's that? I just had that up. Oh,
Do you remember the video the movie Dante's Peak with James Bond?
I did not see it. I don't see that. I'm like coming from nothing, but I found this. This is volcanic mudflows created when water from rain or meltwater from glaciers and ash mix. This deadly combination can have devastating results on the surrounding area. When the Lahars settle, they can become meters thick and as hard as cement. Lahars can occur long after a volcanic eruption. And then, so I saw that, I was like, well, that's a little bit reset-y. And then I found the 1815 eruption that destroyed, well, it killed, it says, one account says 90,000 were immediately incinerated, like just poof, gone off the planet. And there's a tribe that's gone because of that volcano. And I think that was one of the super volcanoes. And I was like, wait a minute. And then I looked into the images of destruction. I should have had a PowerPoint, but this is all happening so quickly. Here, let me Google. Oh, images. I'm so bad at this right now.
No worries.
Images of destruction in Colorado. So, images of destruction. I don't know. That's not what's probably search, but they would all look like towers. Nope, I sent it to myself, so this wouldn't happen. In Colorado. Anyone else able to search this stuff? I think that's definitely.
This is the funny thing about this is that it's not new. In fact, we don't even think about it, and yet, thanks to science, we do know quite a bit about it.
I'm gonna change something.
Oh, that's nice.
Am I off a screen share now?
Oh no, you're on.
No, I'm trying to turn it off. Hold on. Can you see my stuff still? When I change?
Oh no, I'm seeing.
Okay.
That's
okay.
Am I?
Because I'm gonna go to my Facebook to get my images real quick. I need to get these images of it's Colorado.
So
it looks like leftover wreckage from castles, and one of them's called like the castles of, I don't even know. And I'm like, oh my gosh, wait a minute.
Yeah, this stuff really did happen. This stuff actually does happen still today. So a pyroclastic flow is high silicate magma, and ash blows and it blows so fast. You're talking 200 miles an hour and up. And these things, they blow so fast and so hot that they will flash fry you and everything else. So when these things catch a river or a body of water, they become lahars. And so all of this ash mixes, and it just, think of a fire hose full of 300-degree cement. And that is flash baked. That's what you're seeing.
I'll show you what you're talking about here.
Pompeii.
Talking about flash. No, yeah. I'm gonna try and get back on the Hangout to share my screen here. Okay, hold on. All right, you gotta see this. I'm so.
The Tool Drive project.
Is it sharing now?
Yeah.
Is that
no, the other way around. You need to reshare again.
Oh.
Put it off.
Okay.
I just see Mike's stuff in Tool Drive project looks like a phallus.
Ready?
Yeah, well,
there you go. So this was some of the remains. I mean, that looks like even something. I mean, so I was looking at some of the leftovers after the super volcanoes, and I was like, whoa, well, that's an interesting pattern of destruction. But
hey, quick thing, put your phone on airplane mode.
My phone?
Is it near you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just heard it send a message or a signal.
Really?
Yeah, you can hear the interference. It used to happen to old speakers.
Okay.
Yep.
What's that now?
Yep. Okay.
So that was that. Okay. So this, and then in 1815, there was the. I have to find that now. Hold on.
The year without a summer.
Yeah, that was due to the volcano.
Yeah, that's Tambora. Mike and I were talking about that tonight.
After that happened, all these people were decimated, and a tribe of humans was eliminated. We were talking about it. That's right around reset with the whatchamacallit, where they had all the asteroids supposedly coming, Carrington event. That could have been like a super volcano throwing those things, the rocks. How many? If it's shooting up, it said something about cubic kilometers. It shot in the air these rocks that were giant.
44,000
feet in the air. So how far could that travel? Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah.
So you would think it was from the sky.
Do you know what's happening? You would actually. Do you know what's happening right now?
Storm. You would think it was a comic storm. I do, because I googled it, and there was two things from 10 to 14 hours ago on the Colorado or the Wyoming supervolcano. That is it's stirring or something, and I was like, no.
Okay.
And then guess what it said? I got it. Someone's got to Google this. I don't have anything. I'm gonna have to send a PowerPoint for someone to add to this because
no, it's totally fine.
It said on there. Guess what? 1,000. It's not estimated to erupt for 1,000 to 10,000 years. And I was thinking, 1,000 years. Wait a minute. With Fomenko's timeline, because what timeline are they going off of? And is that why they've added 1,000 years? So that because there's nothing they can do. And
let me save you.
Yeah.
I will save you.
Okay.
People have been talking about Yellowstone since they discovered that it's a caldera. Do not be worried.
And I haven't been, not one bit.
Okay.
Until today.
Yellowstone, and there's another one right next to it, and it's Mammoth. Now, Mammoth is worse.
And I'm telling you,
if Yellowstone goes, Mammoth will go, and there will be a new face of the earth, on this continent.
Yes.
But there is very, very little chance of that happening because the lava from those two calderas comes from much, much deeper in the Earth's core, and it is not high in silicate. Meaning all of the calderas.
The ocean lava is very high.
These two types of volcanoes come from much, much deeper. So all of the volcanoes that are excited right now, they are high silicate magma, and they are excited because of solar forcing. Essentially, the radiation coming from the sun is turning these volcanoes on. And 130 volcanoes in the past 2 years have been spewing constantly in Indonesia. You have Etna, you have Ibico, Savonkaya, you have... What, Mike, do you remember the name of the one that blew its whole top and then now it's just a crescent island?
That's Krakatau, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Well,
Yeah.
now Anak Krakatau is the name of the island. Krakatoa is the name of the volcano. I might have that backwards, but
No, that's correct.
Well, how about 6 months to form an island?
Krakatoa actually blew, caused a tsunami that killed in excess of 600, and then Krakatau itself is now a crescent island. Do you know what's still there? The lighthouse that escaped destruction the last time Anak Krakatau blew.
You're not shitting me.
It's still fucking there.
The lighthouse.
Wow.
Okay, I have to.
This is the legendary lighthouse
Because
that you were telling me about that survived a cataclysm, Mike. It's still there. I think it's underwater right now.
in the water, though, depending on when and where, it cools it much more quickly. And you can have an island in 6 months. They charted an island being formed from one eruption. And they had private explorers from the UK documented. I was watching a video on that. And it's like, did you say 6 months? I thought it took, people think, wow, what's the narrative on how long it takes lava to turn into the stages of whatever? I don't even remember.
Well, inside of those, in those ocean flues and vents, the pressure down there, the only reason we're alive right now, I would wager, is because of the thousands of metric tons of pressure keeping those volcanoes like that.
It's insane to think about that. And you're right. And it's along the whole, everything.
If you lifted the ocean off of that for a second, you would have a new island.
Did you see the ocean rivers and lakes they have documented as an ocean forest?
Show me the ocean lakes.
Okay, hold on. Let me get to, if I know where this is, right here. Okay, so unless I just found this after I made this, which I might have done. Hold on a second. I should have shared everything on the Discord. Supercritical. There's so much that's involved with the pressure. By the way, there's a whole science on getting things to their supercritical points of.
Did you say supercritical lift?
What's that?
Did you say supercritical lift?
Supercritical lift. Hydrolysis, water oxidation. It's a whole science. Supercritical drying. You get things to be to their point where they get between gas to liquid, and then you can isolate it once it becomes one or the other, and then different things can attach to it and micro. It's so
they're
complex.
Basically changing the medium by which they separate materials and chemicals.
Yeah, it's kind of like you can maybe like travel, like teleport yourself when you start looking into it, because you're like, maybe the volcanoes, like those, whatever. I won't even get into some of the crazy thoughts there, but the supercritical fluid is really fascinating. I will have to get more on that. And that's just that's like a science of it in itself, I'm sure, where you just do that. Supercritical water reactors, steam generators. So if you have a supercritical steam generator, you're talking about isolating the most powerful element of whatever you're using. That it's a different level of science that we're not even talking about, and it should
we don't think about it at all,
because it's simple. It's like nature's science, and I learned about it because of water, volcanoes in the oceans, volcanoes, and now I understand a different science.
These are processes by which we separate butane from crude when we're making gas.
This is the narrative on. Sorry.
Continue.
No, this is the narrative on who discovered the supercritical points of the substance. Baron Charles Cagnard de la Tour discovered the critical point of a substance in his famous cannon barrel experiments. I'm thinking that's a rediscovery there, guys. But do we have? I'm sure we might have the, I don't know, older evidence of cannons for sure on the Foundry or the Discord. Okay, there's a zillion pictures. What was I even looking for now? I was trying to get you to the video. Okay. All right. Can you go away from my screen so I don't putz around in front of everybody?
There you go.
All right. I just sent it to myself, I think. Because I just found that when I was on my phone, and I was like, no way. They have a video on any of this stuff, actually. Deep sea dive. This might be it. Oh, then they have the Smithsonian research, and I was like, I'm not even going there. Okay, so from this page, it linked me to, okay, here we go. They do it every full moon. Every full moon, they go on these dives, because I was thinking about, I wonder what this has to do with, the stars and everything else with these volcanoes and the super volcanoes and their eruption cycle, and like that's got to be connected, so we could actually figure out when these super volcanoes are going to erupt with the cataclysms we've had or seen and the resets, because I think that's connected. And when you look at the Ring of Fire, they flip the image, they flip the map that they use, so it looks like it's the center ring. And if you look at the super volcano map, it's the outer ring, and then the center is must be the super volcano. But I have to get back. I'll get back to that. But you got to see these videos. Okay, so Lakes in an Ocean, Part 6. We're missing all the other parts, but this is about just the science of.
Just wondering, could this get us into copyright nonsense issue?
Yeah, probably. So, yeah, you'll have to maybe watch this. I can send you the link, and it's really interesting. And I think I may have sent it in the Discord. But it makes you wonder, and so that goes back to what I was thinking. Like, if we were like a landlocked people or place, and I don't know where volcanoes even would come into that, but if water was a source that was on not everywhere, and how that would have changed our tech and our travel and everything else. And the eruptions, one of it says it's like when these volcanoes erupt, it's a big bang of material. And it's kind of like, okay, that was an interesting way to word or term the eruption of the volcano, because, we associate, we're trained to associate the Big Bang with our start. So I think that was a Gov doc that had that too, or Science doc. It was like,
holy
the
cow.
Big Bang.
I just looked at these lakes within the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
They're collections of water so salted and holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
Just tons of sulfide in deposits. So whatever water has managed to bond with that in its supercritical state has created this lake. And everything that touches it dies.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's the coolest.
Wow.
Toxic lakes. I wonder if they're really toxic. Something has to live there.
Yeah, well, I want to watch the video again now, because I
remember seeing a bunch of that stuff a couple of years back.
Oh, this is probably old. The woman that talks about the importance of these the vents is like just common sense. This is how the entire system functions, and without these volcanoes erupting and their vents, like we wouldn't exist as a place. So it's kind of important to learn about, and it's interesting that we don't learn about it. But I'm going to show you how these pictures look next to each other. I didn't get to display them that way, but so the Ring of Fire. Am I on again? Actually, hold on. Don't do that. Let me figure out if I can. I can't get this to.
You're not on. You are.
Okay, hold on. Well,
that's Etna, by the way. Mount Etna.
Gorgeous.
Okay, so
Etna is quite unique because Etna is so incredibly viscous. It's one of the rare volcanoes where you get that sort of flow. It's like a firework.
This is what I was noticing, because anytime I brought up volcanoes, it's like the ring of fire. So I just got Google images, and they're all like this, lining it like this, right? And then if you look at the map of the most powerful volcanoes, we have this map, which is almost like an inversion of how they have, flipped it to be. Do you get what I'm saying there? It's just a different. Look at that. So we have that, and if you look at them, they're all like this.
Yes.
And you have the United States over here, and then if we look at, so the Ring of Fire center, and then you look at the actual, the U.S. is here, and I don't know which. This is the Mercator projection, or in this.
Yeah, where they put London on the meridian.
So it's an interesting concept, and it's when trying to figure out the shape of the place that we're on here a little bit better than what we're told. It's interesting that they use different maps to explain the same type of, ring, but I don't know if they're even the same, is this, I guess I don't know much about the Ring of Fire, but is that what this is? And it's just flipped, or we? It
is. You're just, imagine it's scrolling, and if you click and drag it left far enough,
correct.
You would see.
And I get it, but it's interesting not knowing exactly the shape of what we're on and how this flips the image of even like making it more of a fearful or a, if you were sitting on something that looked like this and there's volcanoes erupting all around you versus if you were sitting in the other and it's all in the center and it's kind of like, oh, that's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's
shoot over the top of us or shoot over the. I mean, this is a little horrifying. I was like, wait a minute, what about when that one goes in the middle there? That's going to be like, but that's not. I don't know. So that was another.
Go back to the other one.
This is all of them. If you search Ring of Fire, everyone will be like this.
If that was the center of the Earth, right there, that'd be wild.
Well,
how hard I'm
eight right here. It's an 8.
Ash right now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Are you looking at this?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What about the map?
Have you looked up brine pools yet?
Oh my goodness. This is crazy. A super volcano at the center? No.
No, I don't think so. I think it's all one volcano beneath us.
But what if it's like this fountain? Look at that. And you know what happens? When one volcano creates more volcanoes, and certain volcanoes can create other volcanoes that have their own magma chamber. I'm like, what? There's three different types of like land volcanoes. Then you have like subaqueous and submarine, and then you have glacial. So there's this whole science of these giant erupting volcanoes that shoot random elements into different parts of the earth, and some of them are like very destructive and most likely the cause of these resets where we see a mudflood, which is a lahar coming in and concreting cities, and then they start over and things are burned and destroyed and people get involved and try to whatever, but we're at a point in time where we should at least know. And if there's nothing we can do, which I'm sure they actually had a write-up where they were right now drilling additional vents into the major super volcano. Which two did you say that are the most concerning in the U.S.? Who knows what that is? That's a NASA job where
these are. They don't mention quite a bit of these, but. Number 2, the Long Valley, that's Mammoth.
Okay.
But
Yellowstone is the one.
You know about the geothermal plants, right?
Let's see. Possibly. I don't know.
So geothermal plants. I'll give you the quick summation. Amongst the crazier ideas are that we're tapping volcanoes for heat power, creating power plants from them. And
yeah, oh yeah. Okay,
some people say that it's
100%.
all Illuminati controlled and evil, satanic, Masonic. Well, who knows? We do know that there are geothermal plants everywhere. They drill holes, so they frack straight down, and then they fill it full of water, and the water boils, and they collect their energy that way. And then the cold air they shove into a different hole using the pressure from the steam, and so it creates a bivalve. So this engine, Mike would know the function of this engine way better than I, but it's a simple thing. And it powers a turbine, one side, then the other. And it's a closed system engine that produces a lot of energy.
That's what they're showing on.
They tried to tap into Yellowstone to do it.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
They tried to tap into Yellowstone to do it, but there's laws that prevent it. And so they put one, I believe, in Central Oregon. There may be 6,000. I want to say 6,000 around the world. The most famous one that you could ever know, just being an onlooker right now without research, is if you followed the Kilauea eruption, because that power plant had to be shut because Kilauea went up and it got too close to the plant. I'm not sure if it completely destroyed the plant. I believe they gave the plant workers a year of paid wages and sent them home with plans to reopen once the volcano went down. And there are some people that believe that they are the cause of Kilauea's eruption. I don't, but
because that was an attack. Because if you apply
in South America too,
I think the marine or the submarine volcanoes are easier to possibly manipulate because you could either block the vents or you could heat or add pressure from the water with some type of I don't even know if that's like thermodynamics or whatever. And so when you pressurize it, you're going to cause it to erupt. And I wonder if they're not tapping, because they're sucking the lava out of them in the vents.
They would never be able to block this because the vent is already erupting with thousands of tons. There's thousands of tons of pressure on that already. It would be very hard to add on to it. It'd be easy to take away.
It's like the steam of everything coming from the vent. That's why it's like
they call them
oasis of.
They call them primordial vents.
Yeah,
because life is born there. All sorts of crazy stuff.
Only on Mars, according to they can learn a lot about how Mars was formed from studying our oceans and our submarine volcanoes. That was a quote from the NASA video I watched on this. It was interesting. It's like, what about the Earth? Maybe
taking it a little bit further out there. What
they kept going back to Mars. Like, I was like, what?
Can you hear Mike?
Yeah. Oh, hello.
What if they already found a way to tap into the geothermal heat of Yellowstone and they're just not telling it?
Oh, exactly. That's very
doesn't go off.
There are
mechanics. I have that.
So to cap that off, lava joke. To cap that off, Yellowstone draws so many customers, it would be impossible to do that at the site, which is what they had planned to do. Now, what I believe they've done instead is they would follow the veins of magma to the chambers. So you don't have to tap it where it comes out of the earth. You can drill down to tap it later. And this is what I think they did in Oregon. That's why I've been paying attention to Oregon.
Yellowstone Lake. They did it in Yellowstone Lake. They took the submarine frackers to Yellowstone Lake and fracked it.
No way.
Yeah, hold on. Oh, this is from
that's what I mean. They didn't frack it. They found a way to extract the heat from Yellowstone.
Oh yeah, yes. Or if it was producing,
they tried to relieve the pressure.
Lava, they can suck lava out for sure. So let's go to Woods Hole. What was it? Where was I looking?
They wouldn't need the lava per se. They only need to.
Well, they're sucking the lava in this one. I'll show you. I know. Well, because I don't know if I don't. Well, I have to see where they're at. If they're sucking the gas, that's fine too. But Yellowstone. I have to. Oh, that's one word. What am I doing? I had to save this.
Can you imagine?
Yellowstone Lake. What is that? Coring Yellowstone Lake. Coring. That's one of the ways to do. There's like 3 different names when you dig into a volcano. I think I learned that too. All right. I gotta focus. I'm trying to show you like 3 things. So, what did you want to see after this? The coring or the lake thing you said, or something. Oh, the digging of the lakes. Okay. The machines. Here we go. Here's that one you can't see very well. These are their videos. Okay. Oh no, this is when they're going to the hydrothermal vents. So the water around the hydrothermal vents may seem harsh and inhospitable to life, but in reality, these regions are oases that support rich and diverse ecosystems that make living off the chemicals that flow from the seafloor. This video appears there. Okay. It's just one of the chimneys. So they have chimney suckers. This one was the Alvin.
Okay, so they siphon that because it would be mineral and chemical rich in the extreme.
Yeah. But there's something with the water. Do something with the water because water becomes a supercritical.
They would have to. Yeah, they would have to separate everything afterward.
And it just stays that way. It's a continuous. The eruption at one of these is a continuous. It keeps in a continuous supercritical state of liquid or of fluid. I can't. What would it even be? Supercritical state of water is maintained at certain points in these vents or around them during eruption times. And so that was really interesting too. And I guess you just have to snoop around the website because it's all on here. The floor of Yellowstone Lake, Woods Hole.
Hey, one sec.
Studying hydrothermal vent floors.
Are you on a PC or a Mac?
I'm on a PC.
Okay, will you do me a favor?
Mm-hmm.
Right next to your backspace is a plus-minus button.
Mm-hmm.
Hold the control button and hit that plus-minus button twice. Or the plus equal button.
Control, okay.
Control plus.
Yeah, did I do it?
Perfect. Yep,
Okay.
You just zoomed to 125%.
Okay.
Now I can read what you're seeing now.
Okay. Good deal.
Good. Awesome.
Here's the Woods Hole, Yellowstone. So they're definitely doing a little research and development, obviously.
Will you look for that hexagon? The hexagon denotes the weather location on that map.
Ooh, let's see.
Top left. Okay.
Huh.
So each of those stations is going to monitor the area general. And they focus on the single bore point in the site, and they have several subterranean gauges. I would not be surprised to find that they had dug out the land beneath some of this.
Mm-hmm. Insanity. And then I got something on the mountains, and they were talking about, I don't even know, if they were like tapping mountain, like when they were producing lava, if we had like giants or people that were like mining or figured out how to do something with, I don't know, with lava, or what if they were erupting and they figured out materials to withstand that. Remember how you were talking early on about the buildings that remained?
Yeah.
Were they made with those elements? So people would try to get lava and turn it and cast it and form it and do things with it, and so that it could withstand itself after an eruption.
There's a thing that Mud Fossil University, I think I heard that New Earth talked about it, but I don't watch that channel. And Wise Up talks about it. What if the stone we're looking at is wood? We know fossilization happens. What is the one natural, instantaneous method for turning something to stone? A pyroclastic fucking cloud. I'll say that once more so that Andreas can edit that last one. What's one thing that can petrify and turn to stone? A pyroclastic flow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the best example I can give you of a pyroclastic flow went out of hell.
Yeah. 1500 degree, 300 mile an hour.
Yeah.
Cement lava clouds. But they do have a point. These things can happen. We see that it's happened and turn people to stone in Pompeii. So it's not a strange thing to think that half of the things we're looking at might have been wood. Might have been animals.
You mentioned Pompeii. There's the Vesuvius.
Shout out to Stellium for pointing out the mammoth pyroclastic flow victim in his country.
Mm-hmm.
That's gorgeous.
What happened? Where are you at? Hold on a second.
There is a lake where there used to be a volcano.
Are you sharing something so I can see here? Oh my gosh.
In the bottom right of your screen, you can see each of our screens.
Here we go. Okay. Wow. Whoa.
Oh, this is a funny one. This is Aogashima. This is a volcano inside of a volcano.
And that's crazy because that's what like happens. And I was wondering with star technology, I mean, could they build around a submarine volcano using an element that could do anything with that as it comes up, as the lava is discharged, it turns into what lava rock, or it changes the different elements that it picks up as it comes up and it cools quickly. Could they not be doing something with that, or with the pressure of the vents?
What do you mean, like
if there's a million
now or previously?
Well, I would say there could be a combination of both. If there's volcanoes on the bottom of lakes, and they're everywhere, could there not have been a technology? You know, there's 1650s is when they have the accounts of finding these submarine volcanoes, and then again in the 1790s you have a map where they're mapping the volcano like route, or whatever you want to call it, the vent route, because those are the hydrothermal vents. But there's so many more than that, and when people are finding them, they get to like name them after their family members and stuff, because there's just so many. And I was like, well, can I go do that and find some underwater volcano, and do you get to mine it if you find one? If you're like an explorer now and you know that these exist, you get to like claim some rights to, can I go sit in the water like a few 100,000, I don't even know, feet away, and get some of the benefits that come with the most pure oasis of water from. It's just so bizarre to think about what we don't know about this place. And that should be like common science, I think. If it's so much a part of we're forming new islands, this could possibly be how we got land, or you know, that's not included, or is that how? Are they adding that? Are they updating education to explain some of these things, or maybe we just have a weird interest in science? I don't know.
It's not strange at all, but the way that they defend a science once they have made their careers on a science, the scientific world is in a state of upheaval and has been for the past decade, but more so the past 5 years. And so to see that reflected in our schools will take a very long time, because no one's going to want to give up the authority of being the person quoted to children all over the world. If you lose that battle, you lose your place in history.
Yeah. Gotta control education.
And they don't care if it's right. Nobody does. Or we
Water
would
vapor cloud. So you were just talking about this. The submarine volcano eruptions have, they produce a water vapor cloud. And I'm wondering how big and bad those get, because that one that they were talking about in 30s, where it's on here, produced. Okay, I can barely read this. Okay, 1,000 meters above the seafloor. Well, it was like 12 cubic. Is it cubic kilometers, or what is kms for volcanoes? How would you say that? Is that right?
That's just kilometers.
It's what?
Show me the page. Go back to it.
Hold on, it's up here. Wait a second. The effect of water on volcanoes, volcanic glass, pillow lava, critical pressure.
So km is kilometers.
Okay, so it's the most it produced was 15 kilometers cubed, or cubic kilometers, and the other that's which 12. This, if I have this right, and I don't know, it's like 3 trillion gallons. If we
just think square kilometers. Like we say square miles, they say cubic kilometers. It's weird.
But it's cubic because it would be 3 dimensions because it's volume, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they go.
No, we go square kilometers as well.
Oh, you do? You guys are weird.
A square is 2D. Cubic is 2D.
We have to find this.
That's crazy.
Google. Hold on. It was linked to something here. Critical pressure. Hold on.
I just thought you were weird.
No.
Sorry.
Hydrothermal events. I must have got there from eruptions. So, hold on. Colombo underwater volcano. Here we go. 1650. That killed 70 people. So that was the first account of the Aegean Sea was discovered in 1650. Colombo underwater volcano. That was before they had classified them. I'm not sharing my screen, am I? Yeah.
No, I think I'm looking at Mike watching Crocodile.
Okay, I cannot. Here, I can actually share it here.
Okay.
And the extinct volcanoes, that is what the Ring of Fire is. They're all extinct. They don't, I think. Or because if you look up the extinct volcanoes, it's the same image as the Ring of Fire. And I was like, what? So I thought they were, so they're all inactive or done for?
No,
okay.
Not at all.
So what makes them extinct?
Magma comes from different levels in the earth. Mm-hmm. When a volcano is spent and the magma chamber is empty or the shaft closed, anything, we categorize this as extinct. There's no seismic activity from it. It itself isn't classified as a danger. When you have a magma chamber intact, or you have seismic activity, but the threat level seems very, very low, or it's recently spewed, it's dormant. And if it's active, then they are monitoring it for eruption. And it's strange how devastating these can be without any of us knowing. I mean, look at the volcanoes that went up this year alone in South America. Last summer. All through the winter. South America has been really wild. And nobody hears about it.
Interesting.
Ecuador is
has been really volcano that has it was 12.3 cubic kilometers of lava, and
now the volcanoes. When Krakatoa first went up, it spewed in a week more ash, more CO2 into the atmosphere of the earth than all human production does in a year.
That makes sense.
It did it in a week. volcanoes this year, in the past 5 months alone, have shot into the stratosphere. They don't mean in the sky right at you. They will billow ash up so high that it does not come down.
So that's crazy. Surface mooring. What is that?
Website.
Would that be taking elements from the surface? Like if you're...
Say the second word again.
Surface mooring.
Oh, it's just where it scars up the surface.
Because these are what they're doing. They're on the volcanoes, in the ocean volcanoes. They're mooring and they're fracking, I think, actually. I don't know if they use that word. Let me see.
Find the other words they do use.
Okay, hold on.
I want to see what they're doing.
Well, there's a cabled array map, which is weird, but that's how do I zoom in on my own pictures here? Here we go. Oregon slope base, primary node, hydro state ridge primary. These are, hold on.
Share your screen so I can see where you're at.
Hold on, I gotta get a better image first. Apex surface mooring. Hold on. It's so blurry. Flanking subsurface. Yeah, here we go. Found it. And then my computer will like go dark, but all right. Google Hangouts. Oh, hold on. I gotta find it again. Flanking.
You'll probably have to reshare your screen again.
Okay. Let me find my image that I just finally zoomed in on to show you. There we go. Okay, so I need to go to Google Hangouts. Share. It's a really bad photo, but so if you go on the Oceanic Woods Hole website, you can see their global whatever image sea array, and they have their cables where they send things along a cable and they measure the fault and they measure all the volcanic data and they dig and whatever. But I think they run that along cables, which might be linked to what Nagy was talking about with cables being used for something. But this is their surface mooring and then flanking subsurface. These, and it has they're coded. So the other side of this would say which volcanoes they were at and what depth they were getting the materials at. So they're definitely using it already, and you can get. I also think they're using like just regular ash and stuff and selling it to people because there's so much value in like the eruption ash. I mean, there's so many elements that we could be using that should be free for us to use, but it's being
that is one of the premier sources. All they do is make it convenient, and you don't realize that you could do it too.
But I'll definitely get better images together and have a fine-tuned presentation. I just wanted to talk about this at least, and then.
No, this was a good start.
It's fascinating, actually. What we're gonna probably discover. I really would like to know more about how they use this tech, because if you're traveling by sea, you're gonna notice volcanoes erupting that are shooting things into the air here and there throughout time, and we now have a few of those, I guess, documented as being destructive, and the results of those, the science behind what happens to cause a mudflood that turns to concrete. And we know that the supervolcanoes are all probably capable of erupting and doing that to a location based on how high in the air they can shoot and the flow. What's the flow again? Where they what is it called?
Pyroclastic.
Pyroclastic flow in the Lahar effect. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the Lahar is the river portion of it.
Okay.
A pyroclastic flow can turn into a Lahar, but also a Lahar can just spew from the ground. There are ground level volcanoes as well that only spew raging hot mud. You can actually see them. They bubble up constantly sometimes.
Maybe that's kind of like, hello.
It's wild.
It's Mudflood research.
Well, imagine if a hot spring... What if a hot spring vent, instead of being with water, is in a place where there's no hard rock around? It's just mud everywhere.
That's crazy, yeah.
So, Old Faithful.
Yeah.
But covered with mud.
That's insane. This is a crazy world. Yeah.
For sure it is.
This is definitely linked to the research that we're doing, and it's kind of funny that we know so little about volcanoes that it's one of the basic sciences, isn't it, of
it's
what happens after? I mean, it's like you don't really think about it as much. I don't know.
Well, everyone has a focus on what they think Tartary or Mudflood is, anything like that, but I've always just thought, no matter what the history, the important part about it is that someone lied to me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why?
That's it. I don't care if everything happened for natural reasons or if the Rothschilds own every single one of those plants and they're operating them manually. I don't care why. I just cared that it happened to people before me. And somebody lied about it, covered it up.
And why, unless they know that it's coming, is my thing. Like,
they know there are enough dissident in the scientist realm.
But we should also know, for real, because it's
how many
obviously
people are in the world? We didn't know each other a month ago.
Well, I know. I'm just saying it's linked to what we're studying. I think here, just in dates, timeline, eruptions, damage. The knowledge of these many submarine volcanoes that exist that produce islands that are different. They're different. They have different elements coming from them, and different ones produce different gas. Like the Iceland one that went off, that had was basaltic, and so that was in not 1977. That might have been the 1700s one. 1700s. When was that giant?
It was. You're right now. I remember hearing that recently.
And so it turned into volcanic glass, essentially, but it was basalt. So then I don't understand if it cooled or how that works. I don't know.
As it cools, it'll form different things.
Maybe they're just what's the population? Do people live in Iceland? It's a little remote. It's remote. They don't talk much. I mean, what's long do people live when they are around those elements? Because they're clearly living on a place that was foreign.
Mike, you know more about Iceland than us.
Do I know more about Iceland than you know? All I know I know about Iceland that if it has a major landslide, that a lot of us are pretty well bleeped.
Oh yeah, if a sizable chunk shifts into the ocean.
I was going to ask a question about
a big part of Iceland falls into the ocean. You can kiss goodbye to Ireland, Denmark, the Netherlands, Belgium.
So that's got to be linked to that volcano.
East coast of the United States, Newfoundland, all the islands in the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah,
Brittany makes a hell of a point. When did your part of the world last flood? Do you think it was when that volcano went?
The Iceland one?
When my world
last? Yeah, well, one's 1700s, one's 1815. I mean, there's a bunch of them. So, and then I was going to ask about the Eye of the Sahara. Was that volcanic related? Because it looks like a big mud flood of just, And then you want to ask about the Bible and think about the flood. What kind of flood was it? Was it a magma red mud flood, or lava, like, or was it water flooding in? Was it burning mud? What, that's what really got me today. I was like, okay, so just trying to reflect on, yeah, there's a lot of water, but this is destruction. This is buried buildings and people, and I didn't know the science, so I don't know. It was interesting.
That's a good way to think about it.
And then we talk about how the water used to be red. Well, were they running more with magnet? Because they're blue. In a lot of the images from the Woods Hole, it's blue reflections on these rocks. There's blue colors. It's like this. It's beautiful. But when you have them erupting, you have like red spots. And I don't know. I thought that's interesting. And then if the sky was red before, and now it's blue, maybe it has something to do with that. And maybe these volcanoes are based on energy and frequency and the cosmos, and who knows, but it ties it into why is the sky blue? And that's been an interesting theory to try and tackle.
Oh yeah, you've got the flat earth theory, and then you have the five suns theory.
Yeah,
everything.
Well, then Andreas did that video on Bluebird and why is the sky blue, and then when we started to first see blue, when they started first talking about blue compared to the skies and rivers were run red.
I didn't
realize that.
It's a Titan skull, but no one buys it.
Interesting. Well, no, because with the stars too, because you have the red and the blue, and it's always the red and the blue. So now the lava, you have the same thing. You have red and blue. You have the blue rocks that are forming. But you also have the red heat. So it's just and they're on land and they're in sea and everywhere. So it's more than just a experiment that you do in your kitchen with lava or whatever. If everyone's done those little pop bottle experiments, or soda pop. No, maybe not. Where they erupt.
I think we're all inside that thing.
But that thing is 1,000,000 times bigger than we see right here.
Yes. A lot bigger. The inside of the dome is painted blue, and the flat Earth model fits perfectly well inside the skull. The top of the dome, the North Pole, or that ring around Hawaii. That's the way to the spine. It just called me nuts. I'm very out there, but I think we're inside a really big skull.
Interesting.
Given how many things live inside of us and have no clue they're inside of my skull, perfectly feasible. In fact, everything would suggest it because everything is electricity.
Yep, we're on a circuit board inside a skull, and the seas are its coolant leaking all over.
Oh yeah, that was in there too. The oil is leaking from the volcanoes, the sea, ocean. I can't even say it. I'm so tired. I've been doing a lot of research. These submarine volcanoes have the natural oil and gas as a byproduct here, and so was interesting because that's what they're probably also. I mean, they're taking a lot of stuff from these, especially the coastal. Well, they're not really coastal. They're right off the coast, but they're still submarine. They're able to get access to those because they're within the limits of the maritime, whatever. You can claim up to however many miles from your coast of your people. It's supposed to be the people's, like yours and mine. We can claim up to a certain distance for ourselves, but there's four corporations that have done that, and that's the water wholesalers and the hydro wholesalers And then they sell it to General Electric, who then sells it to us and tells us it's something it's not. Yeah, see,
do you know what's happening in California right now?
Of the presentation, you guys, real quick, that we're looking at, that's the Ring of Fire. But if you show the other image of the super volcanoes, it completely flips your perspective on what's happening. It's really weird. If you can get that other image, but go ahead, continue, Nathan. By the way, sorry.
No worries. Do you know what's happening in California right now?
They're finding lava or something? Or?
No. This is about the water. So in California, they've been enacting drought protocols forcing revamps of homes that people own for smart water and smart energy. But the water part is solved now. Thanks to all of this, California dams are so full, they're worried about Oroville collapsing.
Oh my gosh.
But there's one major issue. They're not going to change any of the legislature they've done to limit water usage in California. People will still have to abide by those because they're going to take all of that excess water and bottle it and sell it.
Oh gosh.
The companies are already making bids for it. Whatever's on whatever land. So up there you've got Arrowhead and Nestle, which Arrowhead actually might be Nestle.
It's crazy.
But it's just
because I wonder which one they're under. Because it might be the same people, like they're under one of the 4 regions of the water overseers of the world. So there's four groups of people that are wholesaling on water. That's for, again, a different discussion because it's way too... I'll start gurgling more than I already am now. Mike, I have an image of that. I don't know if you got the other Ring of Fire or the super volcano.
That's the super volcano map I got.
Here, which one? You want to go to my screen? Did you get this one? I'll do that. I can do the plus. I can zoom in. I can do the plus. See how good I am at this. Hold on, there we go. Wait, is it control or shift?
It's control plus and then control minus.
Plus? What? Minus? What's happening?
Next to the plus makes it smaller again.
I know. But I was pressing plus and it got smaller. See?
You could just click that zoom button in your search bar.
Right there?
There? Yeah.
It's not zooming. You see this?
There you go. You're max zoomed.
Okay, reset. It's doing the opposite. So I'll just go like that.
Oh, no, it doesn't work on images. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. So as you can see the difference. If you save that was actually, I think you had that. It was in the bottom right of your screen, but it was kind of buried. But that compared to the Ring of Fire images it's a flip. It's a flipped perspective. But I know what you're saying about it. Why? But this is a different map of the world than we see from way long ago. So it'd be interesting to look at the maps now again and see if they've marked some of these volcanoes. And I think some of the submarine volcanoes are marked on the older maps because they knew what they were, because they'd either erupted and they had people notice it, or people didn't come back from trips and they're like, oh, it must have been one of those water explosions again where people just got incinerated. As if there's a million of these things, why wouldn't they have told us by now? You know what I mean? Like, how do you not know? Some of them go a mile more than that high because some of the submarine are coming out of the ocean the aqueous, subaqueous. I don't remember. One of them breaks the summit of the water. Not the summit. My gosh, I'm done talking. Someone else talk. I'm too tired to continue.
Oh, no worries.
I just...
No,
this
no
is all
worries.
science, and I feel like I'm just barely gripping any of it because it's a lot.
It feels.
And I got lost in the supercritical fluids for 8 hours because I was like, oh my gosh, you can separate anything with pressure and heat. And thermodynamics, and so I just
You can. Oh my gosh.
I lost it, and then I was like, no, I'm studying volcanoes. Get back.
Wait until you start looking at mass heaters and rocket heaters and furnaces and radiant heating, and you'll be like, holy shit, I know stratification already.
Yeah, it's insane. But it's like it's actually just makes sense, so it's not as hard to understand when you. I don't know, but I'm going back through everything that I've kind of already gone through, and it's helpful to have learned things along the way.
It's good to get a bit of a frame of reference, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I would have been a lot more interested in volcanoes when I was going through like grade school. Had I known any of this, I would have been like, I want to go find those in the ocean. I'm going to be a volcanologist, a marine volcanologist, a submarine volcanologist. That is my title. And then I get to name them. Sweet. I name you Bunny. That's ridiculous. 1 million. That's gotta be. All right, so I'm gonna put a PowerPoint together that's really pretty that has all of like the images, and I'll prepare it to maybe have shared.
Killer. Now this all makes me think of something really special.
Oh,
I've got it to show you guys.
You're gonna share screen?
I am doing it right
I'm
now.
unsharing mine. There we go.
There we are. And now me. So, have you heard of Mono Lake?
Which one?
Mono Lake.
Mono Lake.
This is in California. Mono Lake looks like an eyeball.
Ooh.
That's what I always thought.
Oh, that's the.
Let's see some pretty pictures.
Is that from the what's it called, dome or coning that happens where they get hit with a big lava ball? No, that looks way cooler than that.
No.
That looks like
this is Mono Lake.
What was the other images? What were the other?
This is Mono Lake from afar.
Rock
and this is from quite a ways away. However,
what is this?
Mono Lake is a magical lake.
This is
it used to be an ecosystem.
What is that?
Its water will wash grease from your hands. Its water does not suds, but will wash your clothes clean.
Hey.
I'm gonna go there. What was here before? Was this like something? Was this destroyed? What is this? What is this?
Mono Lake has been siphoned off since, I believe, the 60s in mass.
What? What if that was...
Oh, dude.
This is what Mono Lake looks like.
Yeah, that's what those look like. That's the cone. That's the dome. That's the damage inflicted by a eruption, I think. Honestly.
Could be.
It's called a cone, and then it almost like vortexes, and the lava settles and pools, and it creates a lake. That's like a cone, and there's a dome in the middle usually, like of some sort.
Nathan, you may want to try this link. I'm sharing it in the text.
Okay.
360-degree panoramic shots of Lake Mono.
Ooh.
Okay. Thank you.
Sweet.
Yes.
I can do that. Okay.
Mono Lake. The special thing about it is that, and this is the true color of the water when you're looking at it. Just like the painting. These are all through filters. All these colors that you see, but it is so much more vivid. It looks surreal. That's all I can think of. Now, there's another lake just like this in the world. I would wager there's even more, but there's one in particular that has remained largely untouched. this this is a great image.
Yeah, that is. I was just looking at that a little earlier.
Now this happens all over the lake, but there's another place in the world just like this. It's called Lake Baikal.
Yes, Lake Baikal.
What about?
No, I'm completely wrong. What is the place in the world that is? It's in Russia, and it's a completely closed ecosystem. Do you remember this?
Kagayak? Oh, no, that's not Russia. What is this? What is that? Sorry, I'm looking at something. It's a volcano ecosystem based around that, or is it a? What are you talking?
There's a lake. There's a lake that was pretty much untouched in Russia, and it always reminded me of Mono Lake.
The Dentamaria Shamban Lake? Hold on. I'm on some pretty rad looking lakes here. The Global Volcanism Program has some of these lakes like that look like your lake. Where, let's see.
You know what? It might actually just be Lake Baikal, but not if there's boats on it. Nope. It's not a tourist place.
France. But look at how these flourish. So if you have one of these dome lakes that's from the lava around it, you'll see just like lush trees eventually. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The regrowth is just beautiful, and then there's just a lake in the center. And I wonder if those are perfect, like the 10 diameters or whatever across. Is that what they were measuring at for those circle lakes, Mike? Or what? How long? 10 meters? 10? What was the measurement of those lakes that were circular that you were finding?
That's about a kilometer.
A kilometer?
Ones in Kazakhstan.
Because I'm trying to figure out if that's related, because they're perfect circles, these domes that are left behind. And sometimes there's a land mass in the middle. And sometimes it looks like just a perfect lake, and it's like a vortex because the lava pools and it creates a hole. And I didn't know that either, and that's pretty cool. And it's like a perfect circle. So, but I don't know. I'd have to ask an actual volcanologist about that. How do you say that? Is that how you even?
Yeah, volcanologist is correct.
And I might upset some people. They're largely jokes to geologists, who are largely jokes to field geologists.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. And if you're studying a volcano, it's like you know how things happened.
Volcano is just geology here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holes in the earth.
And you should hear some geologists, Nathan.
You what?
You should hear some theoretical physicists about.
Oh my gosh!
Like it's
so they have cone lakes and dome lakes. Someone's got to go to this page here. Or I gotta share my page. Hold on. Am I sharing? No. Let me share. Holy cow, birds! I did say that. Here we go.
Well, it wasn't.
Okay, so this is.
So you're good.
Yeah, I'm trying. Okay, so this is what happens to the cone lakes, but there's also dome lakes. And these you might be able to pick up kind of easily. Look at that. I wonder how many of the perfect circle and what kind of water is in those. That could be like one of the fountains of youth here. And it's like they're all pyramid. It reminds me of the pyramid-y.
This has little to do with the topic, but I just noticed Oregon. And that sounds a lot like Oregon.
Yeah. Well, and
Oregon. Damn it, I said the wrong one now. Oregon is home to one of those places, the geothermal plants. Now, Brittany, what you're seeing here is where a volcano has blown its top and was a crater, then it filled with water, and now it's beginning to grow in the center as the magma and pressure push up that caldera.
Now this is
that's the lava heading back out.
They said this is what you could route the lava. It would. This is what had me thinking about terraforming, because if you knew it was going to erupt and you had a channel for it to go to, you could create a lake by letting the lava flow into a. You know what I mean? And I wonder if these were they pooled or they stopped in a certain place because of magnetics.
Okay, so they blew their lid. They blew their lid, and then rain fell in the top of it. Then they're pushing back out of the same flue. So when you see the island in the middle of the lake, which is a crater, that's just the volcano starting to do it again. It's already blown up.
I'm saying there was some different terms when I was in the volcanology, like, I don't know, basics.
Oh no, tell me what you mean. I don't.
So there's dome lakes, and then there was cone lakes. And the dome lakes, it sounded like it was like either a projectile or from the mud, from the hot lava, it would go and it would pool in a place, and it would almost vortex itself. And I don't know if it was man-made, like they would dig a hole knowing that the volcano is going to erupt. We want to create a powerful lake one day. Let's terraform, or let's form it before. Or if it was the natural flow of lava, and it would stop and pool. And if there's something magnetic about where it stopped, why it formed. And I don't remember what that was called. I don't even know if it was dome lakes. It was like, you have to follow the science of the lava after it leaves the volcano, because there's different things that happen with different types of volcanoes in different regions. And knowing what the elements are that are coming out of a volcano, it makes it very interesting to know the science behind them, because if we're trying to find fountain of youth, if we're trying to find how to naturally live a healthier lives, and I don't know, that might be easier to do if we know where the purest water is, or the water that has what it's supposed to have in it is still available, because they haven't done anything to it yet. I mean, maybe that's what the quest is for, finding pure water, like the purest sense of it. I don't know.
Primary water.
Yeah, primary water, I guess. That's a thing. So it's funny that it has to be. It's kind of like when you say like organic food, or like actual food, like it's real food. We want like water. Primary water. Wow. That's a whole PowerPoint away. 2
more PowerPoints. More.
I mean, there's just so much. But at least we talked about the over 1 million submarine volcanoes. So if you are ever traveling by ship, you might want to see if there's any active volcanoes, because they can shoot things called bombs, which are interesting. I don't remember how many meters wide they could be, but they just go until they blow up and hit something. So, and I was also thinking about how they were related to those magnetic-looking star forts, or the anomalies in the water that you saw a while ago. That might be a submarine volcano. Subvol. I don't know what to call them. It's a long name. I'm sick of saying it, that's for sure. Oh, what time is it? My goodness. All right.
We can quit the recording at any time you feel too tired to go
Well,
off.
I was too tired to even come on, but I was having like anxiety. I can't talk. This is like the worst presentation. I didn't present anything.
No, this is just
I have to make a PowerPoint, but the
No, it's
Ring of Fire
we share stuff and we talk about it.
I almost had a heart attack when I looked at the inverted ring of fire. When it was almost like an inverted ring because it was so different when I saw the super volcanoes compared to the ring of fire. It was kind of like one of those. All right, I have to.
I'm gonna
this.
I'm gonna send you a video,
and
it's.
Shall I just stop the recording, or do you want to share more?
I'm done for tonight.
I'm done. I want.